Think back to the first day you got your motorcycle. You're so excited. You want to ride it right away. But your family and the people around you look a little uneasy, like they don't want you to. Sound familiar? Most people judge without trying to understand, and they end up missing a really deep truth about riders. And you might not even know this about yourself. We'll get to why that two-wheeled angel in your garage means so much to you at the end of the video. But first, let's start with why riding just melts everything away. 1. Why we sometimes take the long way home. One day, I left work with a lot on my head, so I got on my motorcycle. I started the engine, and this time I took the long way home. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, why am I doing this? I bet this sounds familiar. Two wheels, like therapy after a long workday. Take that away and what's even left of us. But why is that? How do these lifeless two-wheeled machines become our closest friends? Maybe you thought it was something psychological. We love bikes. That's why. Some curious minds like us actually looked into this. In a 2021 UCLA study, over 50 experienced riders were observed. Each participant first rode their own motorcycle, then drove a car. Then they just sat. There was no significant difference between driving a car and just sitting still. Pretty expected stuff. But when the motorcycle results came in, the findings were fascinating. Just riding a motorcycle lowered stress hormones. It sharpened attention. But now it gets even more interesting. 2. They say don't ride, but you become even more attached. The weather is beautiful and you're heading out for a ride. Some riders, when they mention this to friends or family, immediately get reactions like, don't go out today, forget it, what are you even gonna do? Remember those reactions? But what if I told you those reactions don't dim your love for your motorcycle? They actually grow it? How is that even possible? You'll say. Some even say they've lost interest in their bike just because of those reactions. I used to think the same way until I figured out the truth. And what if I told you that every time they tell you to slow down, it actually binds you even tighter to your motorcycle? In 1966, a psychologist noticed a strange phenomenon in the human brain called reactance. When you tell someone, don't do this, their brain wants to do it even more. In 1979, researchers at the University of Arizona tested this. They put up huge signs in certain areas of a park that read, do not litter, do not litter. Pretty simple, right? You'd think anyone who sees the sign wouldn't litter. People literally littered more in those exact spots just because of the signs. You tell them not to, and they do it even more. This same mechanism kicks in when it comes to riding. They tell you not to ride, they keep talking, but all they're really doing is rekindling your love for your bike. That's it. And hey, if anything we've covered so far is hitting home, hit that like and subscribe button. That's the only way we can reach more riders out there. 3. The expensive state your bike gives you for free. You're riding your motorcycle on an ordinary day, and at that very moment, without even realizing it, you find yourself in a state that people pay thousands of dollars to experience. They go to special places, do special things just to access this state, and you don't have to put in any extra effort just by getting on that motorcycle, opening the throttle, leaning into those sharp corners. And it feels so good. Think about it. When you enter a corner, you look at the exit point. Every rider knows this, or the bumps and dust on the road. Maybe what the car in front of you is about to do, you're processing all of it. Riding a motorcycle is a workout for your brain. This kind of focus puts you in a really interesting state, the same state that professional athletes, painters, chess masters, and musicians get into. It's called the flow state. A psychologist discovered it in the 1970s. In flow state, time flies, and you feel an incredible focus. This focus reduces stress and erases all the negative thoughts running through your mind. Remember in point 1, when I said riding a motorcycle reduces stress, this focus is exactly why. As if making us happy wasn't enough, these two-wheeled machines also take all our stress away. They're truly magical. Now think about yourself when you're doing nothing. Drop whatever you're doing. When you find a free moment, thoughts flood your brain. Some good, some bad. But when they're bad, when that suffocating feeling kicks in, remember how you see your motorcycle as your savior? Remember? Honestly, whenever that feeling hits me, I go for a ride. It does the trick every time. Here's the thing. The brain network that produces these random thoughts when you're not focused on anything is called the default mode network. Like I said, those thoughts can be good or bad, but when you slip into the flow state I just mentioned, another effect of that state is silencing those thoughts. Whatever that bad thought in your head is, it disappears completely the moment you get on two wheels. That's why someone who's never ridden before can never really understand you, because they don't know how a bike can silence the noise in your head. 4. Why riders name their bikes. On a cold morning, when you press the starter to fire your bike up, have you ever caught yourself calling it baby or girl, or maybe even giving it a name? Naming an inanimate object? This behavior shows up in some car enthusiasts too, sure, but it's much rarer compared to riders. We all know that. Most riders love to call their bike by a name name or talk to it like it's their girl. So why does this happen? Logically, it's just a pile of metal, right? Not for your brain. Our brain sometimes gives human qualities to inanimate objects. There are actually 3 different reasons behind this. But here's what you need to know. When you talk to your bike, when you give it a name, when you call it baby or girl, it makes you one of us. None of the riders I know think of their bike as just a tool. It's like there's an invisible bond between us, a bond that grows stronger every day, through the way it picks us up on bad days, through the way it takes our stress away. I think you're feeling the same way I am right now, and this topic goes way deeper than you might think. But I'm not getting into the details here, because I made a whole video about this. If you haven't seen it yet, the link's in the description. Now for the most surprising finding of all. 5. Does riding actually make you smarter? So far, I've talked about how riding a motorcycle relieves stress or makes you happy, but your motorcycle might be doing something else for you, and this might be the most interesting one yet. Remember the Brain Age game? I'm sure some of you have played it. Well, the creator of that game, Dr. Ryuta Kawashima, one of Japan's most famous neuroscientists, ran an experiment with Yamaha. The experiment had 22 participants. Half of them rode motorcycles every day for 2 months. The other half didn't ride at all. That was literally the whole experiment. You're probably thinking, so what could have happened? Their stress levels probably just dropped or something, but something incredible happened. The non-riders, no change. But the riders, in one specific memory test, their scores didn't just improve, they skyrocketed. In just 2 months. Think about it. That moment of focusing on a corner, that ability to analyze traffic in a split second, constantly running through these things is like a workout for your brain. An involuntary workout. Just riding a motorcycle can make you smarter. I'm not saying it'll make every rider smarter, but just the possibility of it is wild. Imagine a machine that takes your stress away, sharpens your brain, and makes you happy. Truly incredible. But all of this still doesn't answer the main question. Remember what I told you at the beginning of the video. Why do these machines mean so much to us? I'll give you the real answer now. The answer has nothing to do with what the motorcycle does to you. 6. Why your bike is irreplaceable. Man, the speed of life today. Constantly changing technologies. Even the changing world. It's like something's being stolen from our humanity. Lately, have you asked yourself, who am I? To be psychologically healthy, a person has to meet 3 basic needs. 2 American psychologists laid this out back in 1985. Autonomy, the feeling of making your own choices. Competence, the feeling of being good at something, of mastering it. And relatedness, the feeling of belonging to a community. But these days, if you're working a job, the boss makes the decisions. You go on social media to unwind, and the algorithm makes the decisions. It feels like you can't make any decisions of your own, doesn't it? Or take the way technology keeps changing. You barely learn Excel, and suddenly there are 100 new AI tools to figure out. Which one are we even supposed to learn? You can't master anything anymore, and the bonds have weakened a lot too. Phones in our hands, but no real conversation. The breath we can't catch in daily life. We catch it on 2 wheels. Think about it. On a motorcycle, you make your own choices. It goes wherever you steer it. It listens to you. You get better at leaning into corners. Eventually, you even get your knee down. That random rider you cross paths with on the road always gives you a nod, throws up the 2-finger wave. That's what real friendship is. In a world full of fake everything, 2 wheels might be the last real thing we've got. That's why it's irreplaceable. Hold on to it.